Hey, what's up, you guys? Esley Greer from Entertainment Fanatic Reviews, back with another review. And today's review is a little different. This one's a superhero film, something I haven't touched base on this channel yet. But before I get started, I do want to say I was going to collab with two people. Those two people being Justin Lomas from JJ Lomas Entertainment and my good friend Jakeem from Nerdy Python Media, which they sent me their bits on Skype, but somehow I just still wasn't able to download it. So I'm really sorry about that, but this review is long overdue. Well, never mind on that one. I got Justin to join us, so let's go, bitch. Before I get started, I do want to say that I did see this over a week ago now. I saw it with my girlfriend and one of my best friends and his cousin. I had fun watching it, so yeah, let's get into this review.
Hey, thanks Esley for having me on the channel. So I know we've been trying to collab for a while and finally I get the chance. So what we're going to talk about today, Shazam. So first of all, I just have to say the cast was brilliantly selected in this film. Asher Angel and Zachary Levi as kid and adult Billy Batson, and Jack Dylan Grazer, the kid from It, played Freddie, I forget his last name in this movie, Freddie Freeman, I think. And his chemistry with both Asher Angel and Zachary Levi was just amazing in this movie. When we were kids, when I was 7 or 8, I dreamed about having superhero powers, or at least even knowing someone with those powers. So I can really relate to Freddy's character, and he's just in awe and is super jealous of Billy. I've seen people complain that young Billy Batson and adult Billy Batson completely differ, but that's the thing. You have these superhero abilities now, and you're gonna have a hell of a fun time with it. So yeah, of course those two characters are going to be completely different, and that's awesome. And this movie is a love letter to Spider-Man, Superman, all these other superhero movies you've seen where you get these superhero abilities, and what's the first thing you do? You just scream and yell in excitement. You just can't believe that this is actually happening, and that's basically the inner child in all of us coming out. That's why this movie was just super relatable and so impactful. You just imagine yourself if you were in Billy's shoes. Another great thing I liked is, just like Wonder Woman and Aquaman, this doesn't rely on a million different cameos or references to let you know it's in the DCEU or whatever they're calling this multi-universe thing that DC is doing now. But it's its own movie. It can thrive on its own with just a little bit of little other references sprinkled in there, but not overbearing to where you're just tired of it. Another great thing was the action and CGI in this film. From start to finish, they completely sold me on this world and just how fun a superhero can actually be if done right. Mark Strong plays Dr. Savannah, or Thaddeus Savannah, whatever you want to call him, and I really liked his character. They gave a little bit of an origin story in the beginning, so you sort of saw the perspective he was coming from, but it's not like it was a crazy, ridiculous, super good villain like Thanos or General Zod from Man of Steel. But no, it was a passable villain, and what I hate is there's certain reviewers out there, and I generally kind of stray away from talking about other people's opinions, but what I just get really annoyed about is they were just like, oh yeah, the villain was stupid, he was uneventful, he was bland, and he was just a really cookie-cutter generic villain. But that's kind of the point. This is what this movie kind of plays off of, because even in the trailers, Zachary Levi, Shazam, goes up to Thaddeus Savannah, he's like, oh, you're like a bad guy, right? So he kind of realizes that he sees this guy, and he's supposed to be this generic cookie-cutter bad guy, so people bitching and complaining that he's nothing special, that's the whole point. I don't want to hog the spotlight too much, but either way, guys, hands down the best film in this DC universe that they have going on. Loved Wonder Woman, loved Aquaman, and I'm just really happy to see this entire universe go in a good direction. Back to you guys. As far as having negatives in this film, the segment's not going to be too long for me, Esley, because I didn't really have that many negatives. I mean, his name in general is Shazam. Obviously, they had to change that for legal reasons back in the day, but his name is Shazam. But the only thing is, I find that troubling because later on down the line, like if you're going to introduce yourself as a superhero, hi, I'm Superman. Hi, I'm Shazam. Pew! Whoops. Like he can't even say his own name without changing. I understand he has to say his name to change, but It's sort of a weird thing. I really wish they kind of said something, even referenced in the movie that is like, oh, can't we use Captain Marvel? No, you can't use that. That's already been done. Like a little joke like that. And like I said, there's another part of the movie. I'm from Philadelphia, so if something is supposed to be in Philly but wasn't shot there, it's really easy for me to tell that it wasn't shot there. So they shot at the art museum when he's sort of slinging lightning up like that. And that was cool. I could tell it was on location. A lot of the drone shots and landscape shots were done in Philadelphia. But they really CGI'd the Philly skyline in there. And the SEPTA, the bus, the transit system in that movie was just, the logo was completely botched. And like I said, I don't blame them. It's cheaper to film in Canada than it is to shut down the city of Philadelphia to film. It's really those two things. They're very minor things. And no film is perfect, so I can't give it a 10. So I just give it a 9.5. But either way, this is a very impactful film for me, and I hope you guys think the same. Thanks for having me on your channel, Ashley. Can't wait to do it again.
So I know a lot of my friends on here have already seen it, have already reviewed it and everything, and I'm really late to the party, but whatever. Better late than never, I guess. I'm just going to start with my negatives because there are a few things that bothered me. First being the first act. It took a while to get started, but once it got to where you wanted it to get to, it picks up, and it's just a fun ride afterwards. Which, I will say, it was nice getting to know our villain, played by Mark Strong, which is one of my favorite actors of today. Another thing that sort of bothered me in this film is the pacing in here. Sometimes it's fast paced, other times it's very slow paced, mainly because it's trying to tell a story. But those fast pacing moments and the slow pacing moments don't mix well together, because you'll have like a fun, energetic scene, and then you'll cut to a depressing scene, which this is a superhero film, and it's a comedy superhero film, but it does have some emotion and depressing things in it, which is good. It's just it doesn't do well with the transition, which is what I'm trying to say. Some of the humor doesn't land, but for the most part it does. But other than that, I don't really have any negatives, because this film, DC has redeemed themselves. The comedy suits well with this film, and the references throughout. Zachary Levi as Shazam was great. The kid that plays Billy does great as well. The whole cast in here is great. But I love that this is like big meets superheroes. If I was 14 or 15 and, I somehow turned into Shazam, I'd probably do the same things that Shazam does while he's Shazam, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is a little selfish, which, the character of Billy is a dick at the beginning of this film, but then his progression throughout the whole film is great. The director started out in horror, and you definitely have that shit. Like, if I was 4 or 5 and I went to go see this with my parents, the 7 Deadly Sins would scare the shit out of me, probably. It's like a PG-13 version of Deadpool, because you got, like, lighthearted comedy. You even got jokes about the strip club and everything, and then got some family-appropriate jokes in there as well. The comedy is it's consistent, but it's different. You know what I'm saying? I love the ending to this as well. It sets up for a sequel, and I wonder who's going to be the villain this time. But I love Zachary Levi in this role, and I would love to show my mom this movie, because she'd probably get a kick out of it, because I did. And I'm like, damn, DC has redeemed herself. And people are like, oh my god, what if they take the comedy route? DC's supposed to be dark. You gotta have lightheartedness somewhere in your shit, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I will give Shazam an 8.5 or an 8.75 out of 10. I can't decide. There's so many things I like about it, but there's a few things I dislike about it, but that's with every movie, of course. And if you found any entertainment in this video, let me know in the comments below. With that being said, don't be scared. To like, comment, subscribe, and share would be highly appreciated. And peace.